Hi guys, welcome back. We are going to do something a little different. For those who have kind of a sweet tooth, but you're looking for something a little more healthy, you know, we have done our cottage cheese cookies, our cottage cheese donuts, which are amazing, but we wanted something a little different. I've got my little card here, and we're gonna do oatmeal cookies with a twist. So I wanted to kind of show you what this would look like. They're very hearty. I'll show you what a finished one looks like. We needed to redo them or do another batch because we needed some more. They're thick, they're hearty, but they don't lose flavor, and that's the important part. But they're packed with nutrients, omega-3 fatty acids, oatmeal, and just really healthier ingredients. So let's get started. So what I'm gonna do, we have a mixer and I've got all the ingredients, and I will list them at the end. But we are going to take a sifter. For those who don't know what that is, what it does is it just makes sure any clumps are out of flour and any other ingredient that you have that's more powdery. I did forget, well, I'll just use this. A spoon. I'm gonna put it in this way so if you dump it, it's just gonna go all over the place because it is flour. One important thing, you want to look at your flour, because what flour companies don't want you to know is that they're changing the ingredients of flour. Well, why are they doing that? It's cheaper and it's making it harder for our bodies to process flour. Yeah, so not cool, right? So I want to show you what you want to get. Even if you're doing it on a budget, that's quite all right. Great Value brand has an organic flour, and what you want to look for, if I can find it, right here. I'm hoping you can read it. Okay, it's just going to say organic wheat flour. That's it. What you don't want, which I was very unhappy to see from one of my favorite companies, is this. And let me see, you can read that. It has unbleached hard red wheat flour, which is very good, but then they put enzymes in there. And what that does is it makes it a little harder for our bodies to process. So I had to change, but once I saw that, definitely want to make sure that you do that in the future, because it is going to be easier for your body to process because it doesn't have all the extra stuff in there. So we've got our flour. I'm going to put a tablespoon of cinnamon. We love cinnamon. I'm going to go ahead and sift it in with the ingredients. It's great. Baking soda. And with the baking soda, remember from another video that we've done, you want aluminum-free baking soda. So I'm sorry, Arm & Hammer, you're out the door. And I'll show you where we get ours. We get them from Amazon, but we get it in a big bucket because I use it for a lot of different things. Toothpaste, skin cream, anything that we use. I use it as an antacid. It works phenomenal, but it doesn't have aluminum. So I want to show you right here. Aluminum free. If it is aluminum free, it will say. So if you can't find aluminum free on there, it's in there. And I want to let you know that aluminum has been linked to issues with the brain. So please, please, please stay away from aluminum foil. Don't cook with it anymore. You can cover stuff with it out on the counter, whatever, but do not heat it with food. Don't use that. We're going to be using parchment paper for our cookies today. So please, please, please stop using your aluminum foil. Sorry, aluminum foil. And then salt. Yes, it is salt. We're using pink salt, and we've got another video on that later, but it will still sift even though it's salt. So we're going to take those ingredients. You know what? I forgot another thing. Peanut butter powder. So we took 2 tablespoons, and it's going to give it a little more protein. I forgot about that. You just want to make sure it's basically all your dry ingredients. So I'm going to slowly sift because this is pretty full, and just slowly go. If not, it's going to be a clouded mess all over the kitchen. And I'm usually messy in the kitchen, but I try my best. You can ask Mike. I do a lot of things very aggressively, so we buy any kind of yard equipment, we're buying the warranty. So just FYI. So what we're going to do is just kind of sift this, and then once I can go full on, I will. Just sifting those ingredients, and it just helps mix it so you get a thorough mix once you get it in the mixer. So I'm going to do this, and sometimes you'll have like little balls as you're sifting through. That's kind of what you're trying to avoid getting in, because it can clump and you might take a bite of a cookie and then you just get nothing but flour, which is really gross. I know sometimes we just kind of muster through because we're really in the mood for a cookie, but you don't want that. So I've got that sifted. I'm going to set this aside. Got that sifted, and now we're just going to set this aside. Take these, put all that to the side. Okay, once we've got that sifted again, we're putting that to the side. Now what we want to do is, with our mixer, forgot my paddle, hang on just a second, and we want to do this particular paddle. Okay, this is going to help blend together our sugars and our butter. Actually, I'm going to wait to do that. So I'm going to put our butter. It's going to be a cup of butter, so 2 sticks if you're using sticks. Please make sure to get regular butter. Don't use margarine, nothing like that, because you're going to have a lot of bad oils in there that you don't want and your body can't process. So we use full-on butter, but it is unsalted. Okay, so it's going to be a cup. If you're like me and you forget to lay out the butter to soften, pop it in the microwave for about 15 to 25 seconds and you have your softened butter. Now we're just going to stick that in there. Okay. Perfect. And we're going to take a cup of turbinado sugar, which is minimally processed, because anytime you take sugar from its original state to something else, it's processed. But this is going to be minimally processed, and it's going to be a better sugar for you. We like sugar in the raw, great flavor, but you're still getting that sugary taste. And a half a cup of maple syrup. And I'll show you the brand we use. Let me get that out of there. Perfect. All that goodness in there. Okay. And I'll show you what to look for as well when you're looking for maple syrup. So with maple syrup, you want to make sure it's grade A, because it's going to be minimally processed. And on the ingredients, you want to make sure it says pure maple syrup. If there's high fructose corn syrup, if there's sucrose, if there's sugar, it is not a true maple syrup. So this is what you want to make sure to get, okay? To get the maximum benefit. So now what we're going to do, we've got our sugars in there. So our sweetener, the turbinado sugar, and the butter, and we're going to cream it just like we would any other cookie dough recipe, right? We're going to start it on medium and then kind of work our way up. We want to make sure it gets good and mixed, and creamed is what most cookie recipes say, so you want to cream it really well. So we're going to leave this for just a moment, and when we get done, we'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. So we've got everything creamed, the butter and the turbinado sugar and the maple syrup. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add eggs. I always do my eggs in something other than the shell because I don't like to risk having extra crunch in there from shell. So I always put the eggs in something and then dump it in. We have 2 eggs. Okay. And then we're going to add the vanilla, which is 1 teaspoon. I go a little heavier because I like that vanilla flavor. So we've got that in there. We're gonna mix these up again. And just make sure it's well blended. Scrape it down from the sides and even on the bottom of the bowl, because sometimes the weight of it can just kind of get pushed down. So once you kind of got it mixed, it's speed it up a little bit, couple seconds, you know, maybe 10, 15, no big deal. So we're gonna turn that down. I'm gonna scrape down the sides. Make sure to get the bottom of the bowl as well, because sometimes with the sugar and the butter, even though I've scraped it a couple times before adding that in, sometimes it can still kind of get lodged down there. So we want to make sure to get that off. Perfect. Lock it in place. Let it go to town. And we just want to make sure that it's good and mixed. Give it just a few minutes. Well, not minutes. May seem like minutes, but just kind of enough to get it going. And then what we're going to start to do is we're going to start to gradually add the flour cinnamon mixture that we did earlier that we sifted. That's why we set it aside. That's looking good. So let's go ahead and dump a little bit of that in there. Okay. And it may poof, so just go the lowest setting first. You can use a towel. I'll show you that as well, just to help with the puff factor and it's spitting it up. And you'll see it start to clump up, which is great. And then it'll start to get kind of creamy again, which is exactly what we want to see. Oh, I can smell that peanut butter. Oh, it reminds me, if you guys have ever had Nutter Butters, big in the 80s, 90s. Love those things. That's exactly what I'm getting from this. The smell of like a Nutter Butter. It's like, oh, but it's going to be healthy. And that's what we want. I'm going to turn that off. We're going to do a little more. You can kind of see what that's looking like there on the paddle. Put a little bit more in there. And I would do it in, add it in small batches. I'll show you what I do here to kind of help minimize, and I kind of tuck it in the back. Just watch the paddle so it doesn't get attached to the paddle, and then it rips it and puts it in your dough. Turn it on. This just helps with that puff. As you start to mix doughs and things like that, it'll start to spit it out. So just want to help minimize the cleanup factor, right? There we go. Doing well. It's looking creamy again, so I'm going to turn it off. And we're going to do the same thing like you can see. And we can probably just put the rest of this in there. I'm getting it all over the place. Bam. There we go. All done there. Put that in the sink. Oh, I put some of it on the counter. That's okay. We'll sweep it off and put it back in there. All right, we're going to close it. I'm going to do my trusty little guard here again. Okay, turn it on. Let it do its thing. I see the towel kind of poofing out at me, so I know it was a good call. Okay, just give it a couple seconds, and you should be good. Perfect. Yep, and you can see right there where it came out. So perfect. And you want to make sure to go ahead before you even start any of this is to go ahead and preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, that's looking good. It's looking creamy again. So I'm going to turn it off first before I should have done that. And I'm going to scrape down the sides just to make sure to get all of that flour off the edges. Make sure the bottom is getting mixed well, because it does have that little divot at the bottom. Okay, gosh, that smells so good already. Don't eat it. It's got raw eggs. Please don't eat it. Not yet. Not yet, anyway. All right, guys, so I'm going to do one final mix just from what I've gotten from the sides and from the bottom. Okay, looking good. And now comes the good stuff. So we've got that all mixed in. We're just going to scrape off the paddle. You can knock it if you want to. Entirely up to you. If you need to release some aggression, go for it. Had a hard day at work, or people driving, or lack thereof. you need a little something to do that. Exercise is a great stress relief as well. It takes a lot of that energy that you have from the stress, and it allows you to exert it that way in a more healthy, productive way. All right, I'm not going to get too crazy with that. All right, so now what we're going to do is we are going to start mixing in some of the other dry ingredients. I'm done with the mixer, so I'm just going to kind of push that back. Okay, I've got my rubber spatula. It's not quite sturdy enough to mix what we have to mix, so I am going to grab a spoon. Pardon me. All right, so we've got our rolled oats. I like Bob's Red Mill, so we're just going to do 2 cups of that. We are going to stir in our seeds. We love pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds are extremely healthy for you. The oils they release. We're going to do flax seeds, another one. Omegas are great out of those. And then dark chocolate. And the reason we use dark, it has actually cancer-fighting properties, unlike milk chocolate. Milk chocolate has too much milk and sugar to create that a lighter effect. You can see, of course, dark chocolate, but it's just so much healthier for you. So we love us some dark chocolate in this house. I can eat Baker's chocolate. Mike and Justin would need an IV to help themselves later during the day if they did that. So we kind of meet in the middle with the little chocolate chips. And what we're going to do, it's going to seem really dry. That's okay. I promise the cookies will not be dry. It's just getting it all mixed together. And you want to make sure to mix it really well. So get it off the sides. Make sure to get to the bottom of the bowl and turn it, rotate it over. Get it on the bottom. Like I said, that little crevice down there on the bottom. And there we go. So that's what the dough is going to look like. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to transfer it to our baking. Again, parchment paper, please. No aluminum foil. Stay away from aluminum foil if you possibly can. It's not good for our health. So please stay away from it. Okay. I've got kind of like a little small ice cream scooper. You can make them as big or as little as you want. I'm going to go a little bigger than that. They will not spread out as much as you think. So you can get them pretty close together. This recipe makes approximately 30 cookies, depending on how big or small you make them. Okay, we go a little bigger, in this family. We like to enjoy our food. But the fact that we can do it in a healthier way makes it just that much better. Oops, pop that one off there. Okay. And I'm gonna go ahead and load this up. So be right back. I'll show you when we're done with that. All right, guys, so we've got those out. You can see they're a little larger, which is perfectly fine. We got about 14 on this pizza tray. And we're gonna pop it in for about 15 minutes. So we're gonna get these in and we'll show you what they look like when they're done. All right, guys, so our 15 minutes are up. Time to come out of the oven. So I'll need to swell up a little bit, but that's all right. A little touch together. Let me put these out. Let me go ahead and put these in. Because I made the other ones a little large, we didn't get as many out of the cookie dough, which is fine. We've got about, as I say, 23 out of this batch. You make them a little smaller, of course, you'll get more out of them. We want to make sure to let these, thank you, Michael, for starting the timer for those next ones. Just kind of want to show you, you want to make sure to let these sit on here for at least 2 minutes before you do anything with them. So we're going to put them on a cooling rack over here on our little side table, and we'll see you back shortly. All right, guys, so we've let them cool for a couple minutes. They're still going to be warm, bottom especially. You can kind of see how nice and brown those are on the bottom, nice and kind of poofy on the top. Want to kind of open this up. You can see the melted chocolate. You can see the pumpkin seeds. You can see some of the darker color, which is going to be the flax seeds. I'm going to give Mike that half for him to try behind the scenes. And then here. Oh God. Oh God. You get that fluffiness from inside. It's almost like a cake, almost to an extent. You get the flaxseed, you get the oatmeal, and it's not overpowering at all. And then you get a little bit of that chocolate to get that really sweetness, or get that sweetness. Not crazy sweet. You have the maple syrup and the turbinado sugar, which is going to give you that sweetness. But again, it's sweets that our bodies can process, unlike granulated sugar. They strip and bleach granulated sugar. That's why it's so bad for us. And we're not meant to process a lot of sugar anyway. But when you have those natural forms of sugar, it's much healthier for your body, and they provide a lot more vitamins and nutrients. So guys, we hope you try this. Please let us know what you think. When they cool down, a little easier to eat. Of course, they're just out of the oven, so they're gonna be warm. Fantastic. Great with a cup of coffee. So guys, we look forward to seeing you in our next video. Take care.